Well, good morning, everybody. Sorry I'm a couple minutes late. It's always something on Facebook. I was trying to do the description and it just wouldn't take it. So, if you guys have any questions or want some information on something, put it in the comments, and I'll get to it as I see it. And or if I don't see it or I don't have the answer to your question, I will post it on here later and let you know. I'm going to take a look at the dashboard here. Yeah, so we're going to get started. Happy May. It's May 5th. And we do have a commission meeting today. I'll talk a little bit more about that later. I'm going to update you on some things that are happening this month first. So our commission meeting is tonight. We do have a planning board. And the commission meeting tonight is at 201 Highland, the existing city hall. I'll be talking a little bit about that in a few minutes as well. Good morning, Stacy. You're on my agenda today. I'll get to that in a second too. Planning board this Thursday at 6. We are going to be talking at the planning board. They're going to be talking about two different items. Maybe there's three. There's two notable items. One is a new Sherwin-Williams store proposed out on Ulmerton. They're looking for it's like a class. It's an allowable use, but it has to be reviewed by the planning board to make sure that it complies with the neighbors and stuff. But it's on Ulmerton Road, right next to the Wing House. So just I think on the west side of the Wing House, a new Sherwin-Williams store. And the other thing that we're going to be talking about is a provision around temporary emergency housing. There's a really good thing that the county worked on shortly after the hurricanes a couple years ago for temporary emergency housing. We had to scramble quite a bit because we had some temporary emergency housing in our city, and we just want to make it a lot easier for our staff and for people that want to and need to provide temporary emergency housing for folks after something like a hurricane. So it's good stuff, and that'll be reviewed by the planning board on Thursday. There is a cleanup this week. We've got one, I think, each month over the summer through Keep Pinellas Beautiful. This week on Saturday, May 9th, the cleanup is over at Highland Rec. I think it's 9 until noon. I'm pretty sure of that. I did put the link a little bit earlier on this page, so you can go and sign up. You need to sign up through Keep Pinellas Beautiful, but it's a few hours. You probably walk all the way around the area over to the baseball fields, etc., and pick up any litter, any trash that's around. I've been to several of these Keep Pinellas Beautiful cleanups. They're usually a good time. Bring a picker. They have all the stuff you'll need actually. Just get there around 9 and sign up and go help clean some stuff up. And that's at Highland Rec this Saturday at 9 o'clock in the morning. It goes 9 to noon. Let me see. So our 201 Highland, our existing city hall, will be closing. We're moving into Horizon this month. So 201 Highland will be closing to the public Friday, May 15th. I think that's sometime during the day on Friday, May 15th. I'm not sure if we'll be open at all on that day. I'll have to get some clarification on that. But it'll be closing on Friday, May 15th. I think it may be end of day. And then we will be entirely virtual online on May 18th, which is a Monday. And then we will open to the public at Horizon on May 19th. Now, our regular commission meeting on May 19th will still be over at 201 for various reasons, but we'll be over at 201 still. Our first meeting at the new commission chambers in Horizon will be in June, on June 2nd. But we will be open for business on May 19th at Horizon. Let me see. May 23rd, which is a Saturday, is our Largo Evening Market, and that's 5 to 9 at Ulmer Park. Let me make sure that's a Saturday. I'm pretty sure it's. Yeah, it's a Saturday. I was having second thoughts on that, but I'm pretty sure it's always on Saturdays. So May 23rd is the evening market over at Ulmer Park. It's 5 until 9. That's been really, really well attended recently. They have usually some live music and some great stuff. Good morning, Robin. Thanks for being here. And then the following Monday, so the 25th, is Memorial Day. So y'all know we will have a Memorial Day ceremony from 9 to 10 at Largo Central Park at the Military Court of Honor. So please join me there. We have some great, a couple like minor changes. It's a great ceremony, but some really good stuff happening for Memorial Day to help remember our fallen heroes. Keep an eye out for our memorial banners, which will be up soon. I think this week. They'll be up soon, and they honor anybody that called Largo home and was lost in service. So they'll be up along West Bay Drive and out East Bay a little bit as well. And there's more information on the city's website. If you have a family member or you know somebody that was a Largo resident that called Largo home and died in service, let us know, because we want to make sure that they're properly memorialized with our banners. Importantly, the last day of school is May 28th. So you get Memorial Day, and then the kids go back to school for 3 days, and then May 28th is the last day of school. So be prepared for that if you're not signed up for summer camps, and you need to. There may be some spots left, some of the specialty camps, but many of those camps are full. I mentioned we do have a meeting tonight. We have a couple, should be a relatively short meeting. I don't want to jinx myself here, but it should be a relatively smooth and short meeting. But we do have team members of the quarter. We have 3 team members and 1 team manager from a few different departments. I'm not going to spoil it, so you have to either watch the commission meeting, yeah. But I know that we've got a couple firefighters, environmental service person, and also somebody from Recreation and Parks on our employees, team members of the quarter tonight. We also are going to be celebrating Asian American and Pacific Islanders Heritage Month, which is the month of May. So in doing that, we'll be talking a little bit about our sister city, which is Kami City in the Kochi Prefecture of Japan, a beautiful town. And we've been sister cities with Kami for over 50 years. So excited about that. We'll also be talking about National Police Week, which is May 13th. Let me see. I can't read my own writing here. It is May 10th through 16th. So in 1962, President John F. Kennedy signed a proclamation naming May 15th Peace Officers Memorial Day, and that resulted eventually in making the week of May 10th through 16th National Police Week. Actually, the week that contains May 15th typically is National Police Week, Police Memorial or Police Week each year. And I want to tell you about the Pinellas County Sheriff's Office Fallen Officers Memorial, which is always on a Wednesday during that week. It's May 13th, and it's at 10 a.m. at the admin building in Largo off of Almerton. I'll get to that in a second, David. Thanks for being here. Let me see. The Police Fallen Officers Memorial Day, May 13th, which is Wednesday morning at 10 a.m. If you can go, it's a great ceremony. It's always well attended. I encourage you, there's parking there on site, but I encourage you to get there early because a lot of people show up for that. And that is Wednesday, May 13th. Walk by City Hall last. So there's a couple, this is David asked a question about Horizon. There are some vacancies still on the first floor that haven't been built out yet, and we will probably we'll be discussing whether or not we're going to make them do a partial build out. But yeah, the tradition or the way that these buildings are built, usually they're left with dirt floors and just some pipes. So that's the way those are that haven't been leased yet. And then obviously the ones that they're been being worked on. Some of them are. I saw the ice cream shop looks like a cow on the walls inside now, so that's kind of cool. But those have been built out by the tenants. Looked at the property. I'm looking at a question from Annie. Thank you, Annie, for being here. But I can't get back to this question. Yeah, there was a fire out at that property, and the city doesn't own the property, but I'll follow up on that because those are some good ideas. There was a homeless encampment just to the west of the Book Rescuers bookstore over on Almerton, and there was a pretty significant little forest fire. It's not a huge piece of land, so I wouldn't necessarily call it a forest fire. But it was all the way up in old pine trees and burning pretty well. And my understanding was that started in a little homeless encampment in the middle of those woods. So it's private property. I don't know who owns it. I'll look into that a little bit. And it would make a great park, but you gotta get folks to sell you the property in order to something like that to happen. So moving on with tonight's meeting. Actually, moving on with tonight's meeting. There's a consent docket. There's several items. Good morning, Terry. There's several items on the consent docket. We have an interlocal agreement with Pinellas County as far as debris pickup in the event of a storm. We signed up for that back in like 2022, shortly after Irma. If you remember Irma. Good morning, Kara. Wow, that's a Crazy for You show. I'm gonna repeat that Crazy for You show. We had an agreement with Pinellas County starting in 2022. In Hurricane Irma, everybody had trouble getting debris loaders because the whole state was hit, right? So you might have had a contract, but those folks started down south of here, and they were working where there was more damage and more money. So we had an interlocal agreement with Pinellas County to manage that debris stuff, and it wasn't great in the wake of hurricanes Helene and Milton. In fact, the county, because they were having trouble, the debris haulers that they had an agreement with didn't want to work for the agreed upon price. The county just agreed on a new price and passed it along to the cities like ours without really having any discussion. I mean, I know they were in a tight spot, but that's what happened. So we're gonna kind of get the county out of that process and negotiate some of our own contracts with debris haulers. We're not nearly as big as the county, but I think that we'll be able to. Good morning, Al. Oh, good morning, Angela, and the American Legion Post 119. Good to see you guys here. So back to there was a question about, actually it wasn't a question. Tom and his wife saw the Crazy for You show at CPAC last week, and it was incredible. I think it runs for about 3 or 4 more days. So go see it if you can. Good review from Tom. All right. So that's on the consent docket. We also have our annual golf cart lease. We've done a deep dive into the cost of having golf carts, and really a 5-year lease is the best, most affordable way. And then we end up selling it. It's convoluted, but we do an annual golf cart lease, and we lease those for 5 years, and then we sell them back to the golf cart company and start a new lease, a new 5-year lease that is renewed annually. So we also are reappointing a couple CRAB members. Stacy Schaefer, who is here with us listening in this morning, and David Brennan are both going to be reappointed to the Community Redevelopment Advisory Board, Redevelopment Area Advisory Board. It's CRAB with 2 A's, and they help us help us determine how to spend the money that the West Bay Drive area, West Bay Drive district, redevelopment district gets through a tax increment financing. And there's a lot of different things that money goes towards, but we really get a lot of input from the community. One of the requirements to be on the CRAB is to either live or work in that district, so in the West Bay Drive district, which is I've looked at redevelopment areas in the whole county, and West Bay Drive is way smaller than most of them as far as geography, but some great things have been happening. Horizon is in the West Bay Drive district, and a lot of the stuff you see along West Bay Drive that's happening is in that West Bay Drive district. So good stuff. We also have a community development block grant amendment, and so it's we're taking about $20,000 that's budgeted for demolition of blighted properties. We do program a certain amount of money for if we come across a blighted property. It doesn't happen a whole lot when property values are going up, but if a property is abandoned and we need to help somebody demo it so they can build something new, we do have a little bit of money to help with that. But we haven't spent them this year, and we are in need of money because some grant money is ending for emergency beds for homelessness and we use I don't want to misspeak, but we use a place up in Clearwater that does a great job. I think it's HEP, and so we have beds that are ready for our homeless outreach team that can get people off the street right away, which has been really successful. So we're going to take some of the money that was set for blight demo and move it to emergency beds for our homeless outreach team to be able to use. We also have a Parlor Donut lease. One of the tenants that will be opening very soon. The tenants that are there and cranking are Parlor, Stray Hands Ice Cream, Parlor Donuts, Stray Hands Ice Cream, and then Pappas Fresh Greek, as well as Lux, which is kind of on the inside, right across from the city commission chambers. So we'll see the Parlor Donut lease tonight. We also will be appointing Affordable Housing Advisory Committee members. So I think we have 2 new members, but most of them are returning members, and that's a committee that meets about 4 times a year to discuss our affordable housing plans here in Largo. I've been a member of that committee for a couple years. There is one elected official that's on that. Well, actually, there's one elected official from Largo. We do have an elected official from an adjacent city who happens to work in that field. There's real specific categories for what we have to have on that Affordable Housing Advisory Committee. One of them is a local elected, and one of them, there's one that's like a realtor. So we have a real diverse collection of perspectives, so it's good. And then lastly, we'll be talking about some state funding from the Department of Environmental Protection to help us with deep well injection. In 2021, we had good morning, Scott. Hope you're getting fishing. It's supposed to be laying down in the next couple of days. We in 2021, the state legislature gave us about 10 years to eliminate any surface water discharge of treated wastewater. So we have a wastewater treatment plant. It's an advanced wastewater treatment plant. So the water that comes out of there is very clean, but it does have some nutrients in it. There's 3 things that we do with that water. Well, 2 things. I was thinking 3 things because there's the residential reclaimed water system. There's a lot of reclaimed water customers that are industrial, golf courses, and then we also send it out through Feather Sound Golf Course into Old Tampa Bay. So that part of our deposition of treated wastewater has to end, And so we are looking at we're going to be doing deep well injection after a lot of research. And what that does is it puts the water down below the Florida aquifer, and it comes up back through the substrate between where we're putting it and the Florida aquifer. It takes many years. I'll answer that question in a second, Keith. Just a second. That's our plan. And I wasn't a big fan of it. We got a grant from the Tampa Bay Estuary Program to help us pay for it. I've asked on the Tampa Bay Watch, and I've asked a bunch of high-level scientists and folks that are environmentalists that work in that field, and they all are in favor of the deep well injection just because of how far it goes below the aquifer. So I'm okay with it. I wish it didn't cost so much, but it's certainly better than putting it directly into the bay. Scott is asking about water restrictions, and we do have water restrictions. Like I can water at my house, I can water, and I'm on well, but I can water just on Thursdays. The city on public property doesn't have the same restrictions, and I think that's primarily because we have about 8 million gallons a day of reclaim that we're putting out there. We would rather put it on grass than put it into Tampa Bay because that grass eats those nutrients before it possibly will run off. Good morning, Coach. It's good to see you. Thanks for being here. I've looked into that recently because you weren't the first person to ask me that. The cities and counties where they have reclaim that they're putting out. Now we do have some properties that use potable water, and that has to comply with the restrictions. But if we're putting the reclaim out, we can't, or we don't have to. And I think the restrictions do apply to our reclaimed water customers, which doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me, but that's the way it is. So I was going to give you some other development updates. You probably have seen that the Golden Corral is coming down over on Almerton Road, and you probably know already that that's planned to be a Chick-fil-A. Their Chick-fil-A is eventually closing the restaurant on the other side of the road and moving to Golden Corral there. Now, a lot of folks have asked about some of the stormwater flooding that happens, and my understanding is that there's going to be a lot of required improvements as they redevelop that property, which hopefully should. Larry, speaking of that, good to see you. A lot of improvements in storm flooding. It's really afternoon rain flooding. It doesn't have to be a big storm in that area. So hopefully I know the redevelopment will require a lot more retention and a lot more better planning around that than the old Golden Corral property. So we're also there was just a development agreement on some Tech Data apartments. It's an apartment building out essentially in the parking lot of Tech Data. There'll be nice high quality apartments, and their plan is they've got a lot of employees that don't want to drive so far to go to work. So that'll be great for that kind of tech area out there around Tech Data out on the east side of town. So that's all the update that I have for today. Thank you all for being here. I want to, for anybody that needs to know this weekend is Mother's Day, so don't forget to call your mom, do something nice for the moms in your life this weekend. And then also after the 18th, please stop by Horizon and check it out, and we will see you there. If you'd like, get in touch with me. Maybe I can give you a tour of the place. You guys have a great week, and thank you for being here.